for your movie, the women, so Lupita and there are the James Bond. It's not they're not was the Bond girl,
No.
but the James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, they all kind of a little bit of James Bond in that scene. Well, which is like, you know, because it can't be a remake. You know what I mean? Like it's homage. You know, but it was, you know, it's got to be our, you know, our version of it. You know, and it's got to be true to the characters. And that was where the fun came from for me. Because Lupita is the most James Bond of all the characters. Like she's the actual spy,
Yeah.
you know, and
She's protecting
exactly.
Panther.
But she's there with her military superiors, you know, like you know, T'Challa outranks her, you know, Okoye outranks her. So it's conflict there because she's saying, yo, I'm you know, I'm getting this in. My instinct is saying we gotta do this, you know, and they saying no, we can't yet. You know, she's like, yo, and no, we can't yet. You know, and that gave us a dynamic to play with because, you know, 9 times out of 10 when Bond is in the field, you know, he's in the field on his own, you know, and you know, somebody might be on comms or something, you know what I'm saying? But you know, that was an interesting dynamic for us to play, and then we got to really cut loose like in the middle of that casino. So the contrast, I think there was something interesting for us to play with as well.
So this movie is a blockbuster with the cast and crew of black talents, and I think it's the first time in the history, something like that. How do you expect people to react?
I mean, I try not to look at things in a historical context right now because I feel like it gets tricky then. Because you know you don't want to I don't ever want to misspeak and discredit like, you know, other superhero films that have black people in them as well. You know, and I can, you know, I've seen that happen before. You know, we've had Blade and Blade 1, 2, and 3 and your Hancocks and these different things. I think that the dearth of African characters in this film is very unique. You know, I think and I think that the scale of it, you know, like literally just the budget that we had, you know, the money and muscle that the studio, you know, both Marvel Studios and you know and Disney, you know, over it, that were willing to put behind the project also makes it feel a little different.
Yourself working with the studios?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a learning process, like with any relationship, and that's what it is. It's a
You was free for your decision, your idea about the
oh
movies.
yeah, man, yeah. Look, they own the character. You know what I mean? It's you know, and so for me, it's about a relationship. I don't want to make the Black Panther movie when I go off into a corner and it's just me and I'm making all the decisions. You know what I mean? I don't think that one, I don't think that'll produce the best movie. You know what I mean? And two, I don't think that would be respectful to the studio. You know, I think that for me it was about us partnering. You know, in a collaboration. You know, and I like art. I like art that comes out of like a single-minded creator, but I also like art that comes out of very intense collaborations as well. You know, I think you get something different from both things. And I was very interested in the collaborative process on this film. You know, I was interested to see how the studio works. You know, and to meet the folks, and I wasn't disappointed. Man, I had a great time.
Yeah, but usually when you work with a big studio,
that's the interesting part about Marvel is they're not really a big studio. You know, they're actually they're more like a small production company, to be honest. Like, you know, Disney's a big studio for sure. You know, and Disney owns Marvel, but the way that the studio works, you know, they work fairly independently. You know, and it's really, you know, you find yourself on these films working with just a few people. You know, and they work collectively. You know what I mean? So it's not like one person's telling you this, another person's telling you that, you know, and then you got somebody who runs a studio you never even meet. You know what I'm saying? It's not that process at all, you know. And even when you deal with Disney, it's collectively, you know what I mean? You know, and it's it's collaborative and it's very well led. It's good leaders in both places, and you know, in Bob Iger, Alan Horn, Alan Bergman at Disney, and you know, and Kevin Feige, you know, Lou D'Esposito, Victoria Alonso at Marvel. You know, so you find yourself. It would feel like I did when I was in film school and I was working with my friends. You know, honestly.
Thank you.
Thank you too.